Hi, it's Erin Coopey, the Glorified Home Chef, and today I have my friend and student Jason Goertz with me, and we are going to be making Italian sausage. Now, we are going to be making kind of a bulk Italian sausage, right, Jason, that
Correct.
we can use either kind of ground up for like a meat sauce or put it in casings, which is what we're going to do today.
Correct.
And so what kind of casings are we going to use?
We're going to use hog casings, which are about an inch across, inch and a quarter. There's different casings, but for Italian, that's traditionally what's used.
Excellent. So you don't have to worry about having a sausage stuffer or using casings for this recipe, but if you're interested, we're going to show you how to do it in a few minutes. Let's talk about what our ingredients are for our Italian sausage.
Okay. We have, of course, our coarsely ground pork in this case. We have some fennel, which is sort of the main spice that makes it Italian.
And also kind of makes it sweet.
Sweet, yes. Yeah? This is a sweet Italian. There are literally dozens, maybe hundreds of different types of Italian sausage from every little region.
Yeah.
This is sort of a basic one that's easy to make, but there's many recipes online. If you want to go to a certain particular region of Italy, there's recipes available for that.
Great.
But this is kind of the basic outline of the recipe.
Great.
We have a couple of bay leaves, some parsley, garlic, salt, and red chili flake.
And a little bit of black pepper too.
Right.
Great. Well, I think that sounds good. So let's get started mixing this up. The first step with our ingredients is that we're actually going to take those whole fennel seeds and we're going to grind them up along with some bay leaves, right?
Right.
And you do this instead of using a powdered because?
Well, the coarse texture adds some nice texture to the.
Great.
And of course, anytime you're freshly grinding spices, the flavors will be more prevalent.
I agree. Okay, let's grind away.
Okay.
So about 10 seconds.
Right.
That's good.
And
good.
You want to make sure that there aren't any big chunks of the bay leaves.
Okay, so we are going to start to measure in the spices for the Italian sausage, but you do this in kind of a unique way.
Right. A lot of sausages call for ice water.
Okay.
It does, especially if in our case we're going to be stuffing this in casings, so it helps it go through the stuffer.
Oh, cool.
It also keeps the meat cold, and in my case I use it as a medium to more evenly distribute some of the spices.
Great.
So a few of the spices in, the red pepper flake, the black pepper.
Okay.
The fennel and bay leaves that we ground before.
Good.
Salt.
And we're going to mix that all up.
Gonna mix that up
Okay.
and get kind of a little slurry here. Whoops.
That's okay.
Get a little slurry.
Great. Let's go ahead and pour that on top of the pork.
Now, one of the things I'll spread the garlic out just so it's easier to distribute evenly. And then we'll pour this on top.
Good,
Just
good.
kind of evenly distribute this all over it.
Great. And we've got crushed garlic on there, but people could use minced garlic. And the last thing we're going to add is a little bit of dried parsley. And we didn't add that to the ice water because it can get a little clumpy as opposed to the other spices that kind of blend in a little bit more.
It would absorb the water and you'd end up with
parsley paste.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Good, good.
Okay.
All right. Let's get our hands dirty and start mixing.
All right. And you want to make sure that the spices are as evenly distributed as possible. Okay, that looks pretty good.
Excellent. Okay, time to start stuffing.
Yep.
We've applied just the tiniest bit of oil to the extruder that makes feeding the casing on a little easier.
Correct, makes it much easier.
Okay, all right, so go ahead, Jason, let's show us how we do that.
So we take the casing and sometimes it's difficult, but you want to open up the end so that it's open like that, just kind of like you're stretching the mouth of a balloon or something like that. And then we just kind of feed this on, and we just go like this and get the whole casing on.
And now we are going to start to feed in the sausage, correct?
Correct.
In the first place, though, you tied a little simple knot here at the base.
Right. I tied the knot that's to keep the filling from coming out the end.
Okay.
We are going to be making these into links, so the ends need to be tied to get something for the sausage to push against, if you want to think of it that way.
Gotcha. Well, it's going to get noisy, folks. We're going to turn on the KitchenAid and we're going to start to push that sausage meat through the extruder. So get ready.
And there we go.
There we go. Oh my gosh! It's so cool.
So one of the things you need to worry about is you don't want to overstuff the casing.
Okay.
You want to have a little bit of slack because when we make it into links, we have to have a little bit of slack. Yeah, in other words, we're going to twist the casing. If the casing is stuffed full to where it's tight, then there's no slack in it to actually be able to. So it does take a bit of practice to know what that point is.
Okay.
And it does help to have a helper. Trying to do this by yourself is almost, you almost really need a third arm.
This is cool. I'm having a good time. So I guess the trick is trying to get this as even as possible.
Right.
But leaving a little bit of slack like you talked about so that we would have the ability to kind of twist these off and make those links that we're all
And you'll notice also there is some air pockets in there.
Yep.
We're going to use the toothpick to, when we're done, we'll poke those and get rid of the air, and then we'll twist them into links.
Gotcha. So Jason said not the most perfect looking sausage, but I'm doing that on purpose so we have a lot of slack to twist off.
Right. There we go. We have our coil of sausage here, the 2 pounds that we made. In Italy and other places in the world, but especially in Italy, it would be not uncommon to poach this whole length and perhaps serve it on a plate as a course. But in America, we're used to buying these in links. So I thought I would go ahead and show you how to make these into links.
Okay.
So the first thing you want to do is kind of poke holes in it. Again, I have a toothpick. The smaller the hole, the better. They're actually, again, our actual
little
sausage picker poppers
yep.
that have multiple little pins.
Yep.
They're very, very sharp.
And you mentioned too that it doesn't even have to be as big as a toothpick. It could be a pin.
A pin, just a regular like sewing pin. Actually,
Great.
That's ideal. The reason we stuff this kind of loose is because we're going to actually squeeze the sausage, and a typical link is probably 4 inches or so. Artisanal makers will have a ruler and they'll actually rule it. Of course, after you do this enough times, you'll kind of know. So then what we do is we just twist it in given any old direction. So I'm twisting it toward me. So the next one we'll go and we'll squeeze another one, and this one we're going to twist away from me.
Oh.
Another way you can do it, if you have a really long string, you can pinch it and alternate. You turn them, twist them the same length, and then you skip a link and you twist it.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and when you have a long string of them, that's really kind of easier.
Very nice.
So we just twisted a little bit here.
I had no idea that you twisted them the opposite direction, so that is really cool.
Actually is best if you chill them like this, and then they will tend to, the twisted parts will dry out and will firm up.
I see.
And they'll form a better seal.
Great.
So this is kind of the way they look when you're done linking.
Very cool.
At this point, I would normally refrigerate these for as long as you want. I mean, the rules with fresh meat would apply, so you could refrigerate them for a day or 2.
In terms of cooking these, so these are a typical Italian sausage, and people could use them in any way that they would use an Italian sausage. They could grill them.
They could grill them.
They could poach them.
Poach them.
Yeah. What else would you do?
Or you could poach and grill them.
Poach and grill them, exactly.
You could brown them in a pan and throw some steam in, or throw some water in and steam them.
Great.
Cover it up and steam them and let them cook through.
Great.
You could also, if you're serving a marinara sauce or some kind of sauce, you could, again, you could brown them if you want, but then you just put them in the sauce and let them cook in the sauce.
Excellent.
They'll absorb stuff in the sauce and it'll poach.
Oh,
it'll essentially
doesn't that
poach
sound
in
good?
a sauce.
That sounds fabulous.
So whatever your recipe calls for, these can be used for that.
Excellent. Well, Jason, thank you so much for joining me today. I had so much fun learning this. This is great. So remember, once again, this is a great bulk Italian sausage recipe. You don't have to go all the way through the casing process, but if you want to be adventurous, then we're going to give you some links where you can find those casings and try this on your own. So please join us again next time at glorifiedhomechef.com.